If your text animations look like this and you want them to look like this, I will show you exactly how to do that inside of DaVinci Resolve. Okay, so now we are inside of DaVinci and let's start with the first animation. Is this word by word fade in, and we are going to make the whole thing inside of Fusion, so let's go to the Fusion page. First thing you have to do is click Ctrl C and then Ctrl Shift V to make this instance. Then what we have to do is go right into the shading, click on the element number 1, you right click on the enable, and for you it's going to say the instance. You click that so it doesn't affect this other node and you disable it. Then you go into the element 5, again right click this enable, you instance it, and in this case you are going to enable it. Then what we have to do is go here and change the appearance border fill, then level to word. If we open this instance in the second view, you can see it looks like this. And what you also have to do is tweak the extend the horizontal, extend vertical, so there is space between lines and space between each word, like you can see here. Once we have all of this, we go back into the text, right click in here and you add follower. Then you go into the modifier tab, transform, and now we have to animate it. You add the first keyframe on frame 0, then you add the second one around the frame 18. We go back to 0 and drag it slightly down. I did it to minus 0.025, that works pretty well. And then the same thing for shading, I just on frame 0 I put 0 for the opacity and another keyframe again for the frame 18 and opacity back to the default settings. Then you just go to the timing, I set the delay to 1.25, which looks pretty good, so you can use the same settings. And then just open spline, drag this into the spline tab, you click this button so you can see all the keyframes. With this you select them, then you just right click into this tab and click ease and out cubic, so you have this nice animation. And now let's go back to the edit page. And before we move on to the second animation, if you just want to use all of these free text animations and don't want to create them yourself, you can just go into the description and download them from there completely for free, and you can just start using them immediately. But if you actually want to know how to make them, we are going to move on to the animation number 2. It's this one, this slide again, but this time it's letter by letter. So again we go into the Fusion page. This time we don't have to make any instance, we just use the regular text plus node, and this is a bit easier. So you just start by just right clicking here and clicking follower, and we go into the modifier tab, then just the transform on frame 0 at the first keyframe, then on frame 16 add the second keyframe, then back to 0, and I dragged it down to minus 0.045, and then I put the same keyframes on opacity max on frame 16 and on frame 0 opacity to 0 as well. Then again you just open the spline tab, drag in this node, you select all of the keyframes, and again just right click and ease out cubic. And now the last animation, so again back into the edit page, and this is going to be the third and last animation for this video. Is this slide out to the right, but honestly you can just customize it for any direction you want. So let's again open the Fusion page and go back to the frame 0. I animated this by tracing. I put the first keyframe on frame 0 and then the second one on frame 23, and just so you can see what this actually does. If I decrease the value of tracing, all the letters move towards the pivot point, and I just animated this. And just so it looks a bit better, I put some keyframes on opacity again. So on frame 23 keyframe, and then on 0 another keyframe, and drag it to 0. And as for the first two animations, I just dragged it into the spline, selected everything and clicked ease out cubic. And yeah, what I forgot to mention is that I also on all of them go into the settings and enable motion blur, because it also makes everything just look much smoother and better. It makes it look like more like what you see with your real eye. That's all free animations. If you want them ready to drag and drop right into your timeline, the free pack is linked in the description. And if you want to keep improving consistently, I also share more editing breakdowns, client tips and free editing resources inside of my newsletter, which you can also find down in the description. And if this helped you, subscribe so you don't miss the next one, and also let me know in the comments which of these animations you are actually going to use. Bye.